Off with their heads!
French Revolution. It was a period of radical social and political upheaval in France between the years 1789 and 1799. When you think of the French Revolution, probably think of the guillotine, and you would be correct. From the years that the revolution began to the year that it ended, historians estimate an average of about 18,000 people were put to death via the guillotine. However, other estimates do range up into the 40,000s. Off with your head! Off with your head! Off with your head! Off with everybody's head! The Reign of Terror that Maxwell Robespierre headed, pun intended, extended from 1793 to 1794. That's where a lot of the beheading happened. Off with your head! This period occurred at the onset of the French Revolution and was brought to an end with Robespierre's execution. He was executed without a trial, and his last words were reportedly "Merci, monsieur," said to a man who gave him a handkerchief for his bleeding face as he was strapped to a table. So one of the things that sparked the riots that led to the revolutions was Louis XVI's mismanaging of France's finances, which led to the price of one loaf of bread equaling about what one peasant would earn in a month. It turns out that people in that era were eating about 2 pounds of bread a day.
You have to eat a balanced diet, otherwise you get a revolution. You see what happens?
Another thing that was a tipping point for France was the Enlightenment, or the era of scientific exploration, and the idea that God maybe wasn't an all-powerful ruler, and that science had some explanations for how the universe worked. In turn, that gave the church less power, which gave the monarchs less power, which meant upheaval in the city! At some point, as the country was in upheaval, the royal family did attempt to escape the country. However, they were noticed when the king was recognized due to the fact that the king's face was on all of the coins. Louis XVI was also a little bit cocky. On the day that people tore down Bastille Prison, literally brick by brick with their bare hands, he wrote nothing in his diary about a hunting trip that he was on at the time. Louis XVI was forced to reconvene the Estates General, which was made up of the clergy, the nobles, and the third estate, or the peasants. Alright, now there were 3 stages to the revolution. In the liberal phase, we have a national assembly and also minor changes in government, but people aren't really that happy still. The second phase is the national convention, where the radicals take over the government and our republic is created. The directory phase! A 5-man directory phase created to share power with the National Assembly. Fun fact, libelle pamphlets were spread before and during the revolution. These were pamphlets that were funny or racy or slanderous, pictures or words, but mostly pictures, about the royalty. And the revolution ends with the Constitution of 1795. You have a considerably more conservative national government, and in the end, Napoleon ends up taking over. Red, the blood of angry men. Black, the dark of ages past. Red, a world about to dawn. Black, the night that ends at